Welcome to the recording of the Dual Credit Program at KPU information session from April 11th, 2019, held at Tulsa Secondary School. During the recording session, we had some technical difficulties with the sound quality, and thus we've slightly edited this version. The information session has two main parts: an explanation of the academic dual credit program with Cam Verk, and an explanation of the Youth in Trades Dual Credit Program with Laura McDonald. KPU's Dual Credit Program gives high school students a head start on university studies. Students in the program earn graduation credit and university course credits. KPU has waived the application fee and the student association fee for dual credit students. A wide variety of dual credit program options are available. For example, KPU has a healthcare assistant program and an education assistant program. We'll now join Cam as she explains some of the other options available.
So the next example of a course program, is computer-aided design and drafting program. So students in grade 11 or 12 can take the CAD core semester while they're still in high school. Tuition is paid by the school district, except for one course is usually the fourth course, and students earn dual credits in both secondary and post-secondary. And some more examples, we have different courses like psychology, sociology, business, marketing, fine arts, welding, plumbing, automotive, and many, many more. An example is psychology, which is the introduction to psychology basic processes. So this is psychology 1100. And students will study topics related to basic psychological processes. They will critically examine areas such as the biological basis of behavior, sensation, perception, states of consciousness, learning, and memory. Students will learn about the historical and philosophical contents behind the development of psychology and the research methods used by psychologists. And the next course we also offer, these are just again examples, Fine Arts 1100, which is the introduction to drawing. So with this course, students learn the fundamentals of drawing in the field of visual art. They will study and practice various technical approaches to drawing. Students will focus primarily on observational drawings, including still life, perspective, and the human figure. And we also have more examples. We have courses with business. So there's Business 1215, which is organizational behavior. And we also have creative writing, new forms, and media networked narratives. So for business, I'll just give another descriptive paragraph here. Students will learn how the behavior of individuals and groups in work environments affect organizational performance. Topics include individual attributes, motivation, theories, and strategies, group dynamics, teamwork, organizational structure, job design, leadership, organizational culture, and politics, communication, conflict, stress, and change management. And their special emphasis is placed on diversity, cross-cultural issues, and ethnic conduct organizations. So for creative writing, which is a very popular course, new forms in media network narratives, students will learn and practice new forms of creative writing, such as collaborative composition, writing for new and social media, blogging, and writing for digital publications. They will study emerging uses of online technology and will learn writing skills through individual composition, group work, and the development of electronic portfolios.
Steve had said is that right now the courses that are available are primarily year 1 and year 2 type of courses, but they're they're having conversations about opening up the entire course catalog of KPU offerings into this program, which is extraordinarily amazing.
Holy wow.
I think for us even year 1 and year 2 is that's so beneficial to the students. Again, just repeating in the sense that open doesn't mean that a grade 11 student is going to take a 400 level course. Prerequisites still apply, but they're just the whole sweep of what might be available to a student. Any other online questions? And then we'll go to the live questions. So the question online is that the school district pays the cost as it is currently set. Does the cost vary by course, or what would be a ballpark figure?
So the board approves tuition fee increases each year. We are capped at 2%. That has been the case for many, many years. And so we would anticipate likely a 2%. It sort of keeps up with the cost of the infrastructure as well. So a fee is about $560. It does vary depending on the nature of the course, if there are lab fees and other costs associated with it. As Cam, I believe, indicated, we do waive the application fee and we waive the student life fee, which students are in high school, they're not taking advantage of clubs and other sorts of opportunities until they're full-time students at KPU. So it's about
561
roughly. Okay, about 561 roughly.
That was the number we last arrived at, and as I said, it's an average figure, but it will give you a sense of the cost.
But we had some conversations around if a school wanted to have the parents pay all or part of that. KPU has no involvement in that process. You wouldn't say yay or nay, as long as the check is coming from the independent school or district to KPU to streamline the process.
That's correct, Janet. And so our preference is that the institution work with the parents directly, and then we would simply invoice the institution, whether it's a school or a larger entity, for the cost of the students who are taking advantage of this opportunity. And presumably then the institution would gain those tuition fees from the parents. Yes, so the question on site was, are the courses delivered at KPU or are they delivered off-site, perhaps at the independent school? And it all depends. A lot of factors that go into this. First of all, we would need sufficient numbers to be able to offer the course. So if it was offered at an independent school, we would want to ensure that we have sufficient numbers to have the course run. That's the same as any course at Kwantlen. We do have instructors that are willing to travel to independent schools to offer courses. It tends to be dependent on the instructor as to whether they are willing to do that. And also in some cases, and we'll hear a little bit from trades, there are special equipment that would be needed for certain courses. So it depends, but we're willing to work with the independent schools as to what your needs might be. And it might be that the possibility of collecting a number of students from a number of schools and offering a course at one location. That's the preference, that the grade 12 students or grade 11, I think this is your judgment as a student being socially ready to go to a post-secondary institution from an age point of view as well as an academic point of view. But our preference, because it gives the student an experience of being at a university and perhaps considering continuing at a university, is that it actually be at Kwantlen. And just so you know, we have 5 campuses now. We just opened one up at the Civic Plaza in Surrey here. Primarily those are graduate level business courses, but we have Cloverdale, primarily trades. We have our Langley campus, we have our Richmond campus at Lansdowne, and we have our Surrey campus as well. So a good range of opportunities. The question is about online courses. I forgot to repeat the question previously, but we don't have a lot of online. It's an area that we are moving more and more towards, as we see that as a great way to interact from a distance with potential students. We have, in some cases, what might be considered a blended approach. Most of our courses are delivered face-to-face, though, at this point. So the first year courses are the ones that are available first. That's where we hope that grade 12 students, for instance, who've perhaps completed their studies at the high school and are ready to move on, maybe they're advanced students or they've completed the courses, they could take first year level English at Kwantlen as part of this dual credit program. Chemistry will be the same. We don't have a strong presence in dual credit with our science faculty. This is something that I would like to see. I'll give you an example of this. A good colleague of mine is president of Camosun College over on Vancouver Island, Sherry Bell. She used to be the superintendent in Victoria, and that's how I got to know her. So I visited in the summertime to learn about what they do. We have probably just a little over 200 students involved in dual credit right now. Camosun has over 800. And it's drawing from a smaller region of local school districts. And they have the largest intake goes into the sciences. And we have very few in the sciences. And so I would say that's an area of growth opportunity for us. And the students, and to the previous question, the students primarily would be joining a class of university students. And so 1 or 2 or 3 in a class, our maximum class size. And we're fortunate this way. Our maximum is 35 students. And in some faculties, depending on safety concerns, trades would be an example much lower than that. We also are an open access university, which means that as long as students have the English requirements, they are eligible to enroll full-time at Kwantlen.
Do you mind if I add in something?
Yeah, please do.
We also have astronomy that we possibly will be offering as well. And there is a chance of physics 1100, which will be, as you were asking about online courses, it's still in the works of having that as well offered to dual credits for having online physics classes as well. So just to answer any other questions you guys might think of.
The Ministry of Education fully supports dual credit programs. KPU is a recognized educational partner. Any instructor at KPU is going to be vetted, and the program is going to be vetted. So this is a no-brainer from a school side. If your student is enrolled into a KPU course, the ministry already has a mechanism for it and has the tracks codes and everything to make sure that the student is getting university and high school credit.
With the K-12 public system, there has to be a very clear pathway indicated for students who are choosing dual credit in order for the funding to come through. And there have been stories where that funding has been withdrawn, and as you may know, the funding is withdrawn through the audits in the year of operation, and no school or district wants to see that happen. So compliance, very important. The Ministry of Education, and I'm working very closely with them. I know most of them. Scott MacDonald is the deputy. I know him very well. We are working on the policy with the current curriculum changes going on. They are now reviewing all of their policies, and external credits or extra credits such as dual credit are under some review. We have various meetings scheduled. We had one in the fall. We plan to have one fairly soon. And the view from the field is we want more of this. So yeah, so great question. I just want to add one more, and that's the transferability. And Cam mentioned course transferability. And of course, we would love, if someone took English 1100, for example, we'd love them to continue on and use that as their first year English as part of whatever faculty they might choose and pursue studies at KPU, hopefully for a degree program. One of my tasks has been to develop an Office of Graduate Studies for KPU, so we're soon going to be offering master's degrees, and these are credible university degrees across Canada, around the world. There is an organization called the BC Council for Admissions and Transfers, BC CAT, and they work out agreements among all of the universities in British Columbia for transferability of courses, university courses. Now you can go online to BC CAT and you can see if I took a course at Kwantlen and then decide to go to UBC, what is the equivalent of that course? And it's a computerized system. It will tell you exactly what that transferability is. And almost every course is transferable across all the institutions, 25 of them in BC. It's a great question. The question is, if a student took English 1100 as an example, could that count for a grade 12 credit for English 12? And the answer is no. the compliance branch, and again, I'm not sure of independent schools here, but the compliance branch would be saying that any courses offered in the K-12 system would not be eligible for dual credit as a retro credit. I'm not sure if I'm explaining, but essentially it has to be different from the curriculum of K-12. We're also very careful in terms of offering courses that might cause tension with the teachers who are teaching within the system. This is more of a BCTF issue, probably not the same, but still don't want to overlap courses that are already being taught. One of the questions I have, and it's I think it's related to your question, is if it's a small school or an area where a student just is not able to get the course because it's not offered at that high school, could they then take the course at the university and get that reverse credit? And I don't have a full answer for that one. An example would be language courses. We have a whole range of language courses that I think will be of interest for students. And so if Punjabi is not offered in a high school, could students take Punjabi at the university and get that credit? And I need more answers on that from the ministry.
Do you mind, Steve? Can I just kind of
Please do.
rephrase what you said? Because this is a key point. So for people online also, the key point is if it's a K-12 Ministry of Education course, that needs to be delivered by K-12 certified teachers and follow the curriculum of the K-12. The courses then that we're talking about through KPU would be your elective course. It did count as your elective course. There again, the ministry has already done the compiling of the codes and the tracks and everything is in a system, but you can't replace your English 12 with a English 1100 and say, and I believe that part of your criteria is that the student has already taken and passed English 12.
So I'll let Cam speak to that, but yes, English is
one of the,
I think it's the
only prerequisite to join into this dual credit program. We're going to go back into the slideshow, talk a little bit more about some of the things prepared, and then we'll have more time for more questions.
So I'm Laura McDonald. I'm the Associate Dean for the Faculty of Trades and Technology. I've been with Kwantlen Polytechnic University for about 5 years, and specifically with Trades and Technology for about 2.5 years now. So I'll just give a quick kind of overview of Trades and Technology and how our dual credit programs work. So with dual credit through trades, we actually call it the Youth in Trades or Youth Train in Trades program. So our programs are governed by the Industry Training Authority. So that's the governing body, for those that aren't familiar with trades, that certifies individuals in a trade. So there's multiple levels. We have foundation levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, leading to a Red Seal certification in all of the trades that we offer. So the trades that we run at Kwantlen Polytechnic University, they are delivered by Red Seal journey people in the trades, and then they also have their provincial instructor diploma. So it's a bit of a different line of education than the traditional academic instructors that are at the Kwantlen Polytechnic University. Our programs, similar to the dual credit programs, you earn credits towards your high school diploma while you're also earning your level 1 technical trades training. So these are the programs that we currently run at Kwantlen Polytechnic University through our Youth Train in Trades programs. So we've got automotive service technician, carpentry, landscape horticulturist. I'll come back to that one in a second. Masonry, metal fabricator or fitter, millwright, plumbing, piping, and welding. The reason I've flagged landscape horticulturist is that it's actually not run through the Faculty of Trades and Technology. It's run through the Faculty of Science and Horticulture. So it's not under my umbrella. If you have specific questions about it, I will not be able to answer them for you, but I can definitely get some answers for you and loop back to you. So these are the programs that we run right now through KPU, and we run them in various formats. So these are the delivery options that we have currently. So we run on-campus programs. So that's where your high school students come to our Cloverdale campus, which is called KPU Tech, and they join into our programs for the full duration of the program. You were talking a few minutes ago about the cost of credits for programs. Our programs are run by weeks, so it's $125.99 per week. And then we charge the library, technologies, and student development fee, which is $8.81 per week. The programs that we offer on campus, full programs, would be things like our Millwright program. So it's 24 weeks, and your students would come to our university for 24 weeks to do the full foundation program. We have programs that are a full cohort of high school students coming to the university for that full duration. So it's only high school students with our faculty member. And then we also have what are called blended programs. Not this blended program, though I'll get to that one in a minute. So these would be programs where we would have your high school students in with adult students, okay? So they would really get the full KPU experience sitting in a classroom. Not often are they in a classroom. We have full shops for all of the programs that we have. So these are fully functioning shops. Automotive, we actually bring in customer cars and work on the customer cars as an example. Okay, so those are the two types for the full program. So a full group of high school students or high school students with adult students at our school for the full duration. We have off-site instruction. An example of that would be our masonry program. Currently, we have a masonry program running at Pitt Meadows Secondary School, and it's our KPU faculty member that goes to Pitt Meadows Secondary School and teaches the full duration of the program. So 100% of the program is run at the high school on that site, our faculty member, and they get credit at the high school and also get first year or level 1 technical training, which is recognized with the Industry Training Authority for masonry, okay? The final one that we offer are the blended programs. So the majority of the instruction for these programs happens at the high school. Then students come to the university for 4 weeks of intensive training. So carpentry is a good example of a program that we have. So we have Glen Hurt High School here in Surrey. The students from that program spend 20 weeks at the high school doing their program. Well, 20 weeks at the high school doing their program and doing practical experience. And then they come to the university for 4 weeks of training specifically with our instructors. So they get the KPU experience, they meet the KPU faculty members, they're on site just for the 4 weeks. And again, they get the credit at the high school and get the credit at the university. And all of these are governed by the Industry Training Authority. Those are the programs that we currently offer. We are looking at also doing a metal fabricator program. We have the resources, the faculty members. We just haven't been able to run it recently due to low numbers. But we are expecting to run it in February of 2020. And so the question was essentially, is the Kwantlen Polytechnic University instructor always going to the high school to teach the high school component as well as the 4 weeks on site? And the answer is no. It's the high school instructor that teaches the high school component. And then when the student comes to the university, it's our Kwantlen Polytechnic faculty member that's teaching at the university. The exception would be one like masonry, where our faculty member goes to that site and teaches the program. We also have a plumbing piping program here in Surrey, and with that one as well, it's our instructor that goes to the site to teach the program. So it's not, unfortunately, it's not a single answer. It's one of those, it depends. But at this point, the only two that we run on site with our faculty members, on site being at the high school, are masonry and piping. For the rest of them, it's the high school teacher teaches the high school component, and then the students come to Kwantlen Polytechnic and our faculty teaches the university component. And for the ones that are on site, like 100% at KPU Tech, those are 100% KPU faculty members. Unfortunately, for all of our programs, there are requirements. So again, the Industry Training Authority dictates what the requirements are for the programs, and materials are required on site. It's not theory, it's not exclusively theory. That said, there are options available. Separate to this conversation, but relevant for here, is that we run through Fraser Regional Correctional Center We actually run a welding program for the inmates there, and we have taken our welding equipment to their site so that we can give them the instruction they need, because they obviously can't come to us, right? So there are options there. We can work together, definitely can work together, provided that you have it would be dedicated space that we would need. The question is for the blended programs where students come to our site for 4 weeks, are they only attending KPU and not attending school? And the answer is yes, they only attend KPU for those 4 weeks. They are not on site. That said, what we have found, and it's not dictated by us, but what we always find is that the high school instructor comes to KPU. So the high school instructor is there at KPU with the students, not instructing, but present. And there is continuous communication between the high school instructor and our faculty member, or our faculty member and the high school instructor. So each of the high schools that we deal with has a liaison. Any issues that we come across with, like attendance is the big one. As soon as there is an attendance issue, we instantly get in contact with the high school to make them aware. The students are just as accountable at the university as they would be at the high school, in a way that we don't hold our university students to that same account. High school is different. We recognize that we're dealing with minors. So we have memos of understanding in place that dictate what we need to do and how we need to do it so that the students are safe. Okay, so the question in the audience here is, how do we determine what programs we offer? My honest answer is, I don't know. That we receive, it's called a training plan from the Industry Training Authority, and it tells us what programs we are offering. Like, it dictates you're going to offer 4 electrical foundation sections and 8 apprentice sections, and these are the levels that you offer them at. It also says on it what the youth train and trades programs are. My guess, and I think it's a very educated guess, is that if we chose to go in the direction of running youth train and trades programs for programs that we don't currently offer, like electrical, the Industry Training Authority would support us in those endeavors, provided that they have the curriculum in place. But I don't know why our electrical department to this point has not done youth train and trades. Question in the audience is, how does the funding work for the blending program? Yes, okay, so if it's a 24, say our carpentry program, which I think it's 21 weeks, but don't hold me to that. So for the 4 weeks that the students are on site, that's the 4 weeks that the high school is expected to pay for. So it's $125.99 per week for 4 weeks. Sorry, the question was, do you still get funding at your high school for those students for the remainder of the time that they're engaged at your schools? And the answer is yes.
The question is, what happens if you have international students registered in your schools, and what does the fee structure look like? And for international students attending KPU, probably the same here. The fee structure is higher for international students, and so that would be transferred through. And I'm just looking at current costs. It's a little less than $2,000, so it's about 4 times the cost of a domestic student. I think because we are moving into new territory here, both in the structuring of programs as well as fee structures, that we would be open to proposals that might come forward. We're interested, bottom line, we're interested in students graduating from high school, being successful in life, and part of that might be going and taking post-secondary, whether in the trades or on the academic side. That's the bottom line goal, and we have to cover our costs. We're not a UBC, but we are certainly one of the largest universities in BC. I think we're about 4th largest in BC. Yeah, I want to mention one other piece that is perhaps of interest. Kwantlen Polytechnic University is the global leader in developing zero-cost textbooks. I don't know if you have heard of zero, we call it Z-Creds, and when students go online to register at KPU, through the course catalog, they can pick courses that have zero costs with respect to textbooks and the materials that might be needed for learning. So this is an added incentive for students. You're probably well aware of the cost of textbooks, and once you buy a high school biology book, it seems like there's a new version comes out the next year, and so the cost can be hundreds of dollars for students when they go to university. And our process is more and more developing either individual instructor developed textbooks or group textbooks that are developed, and they can be updated right away. So that's an added
an open access type.
Open access, that's correct. Yeah.
Fabulous. If let's either trades, I'm a little confused about this 4-week, the blended. The students then are at KPU for 4 weeks. What happens to their other high school courses, their math they may be enrolled in, or their English? And you obviously have students that are already doing this. So how are the schools making that work?
So for the blended programs that we have right now, the schools that we're partnering with are semester-based schools. So for I'm going to use the carpentry as an example because it's, the one that we've been talking about the most. So the intake that we just had, the semester started, I believe, on February 3rd, end of January, beginning of February. And then those high school students are with us right now. So they do all of their academics in the previous semester. When they come to us, they are not doing any classes above and beyond the high school carpentry program.
Okay.
And then
that makes sense.
Our 4-week carpentry class. So that's my understanding of that one. Our on-site masonry program would be the same. So it's 1 semester full-time masonry. So they're not doing any other classes at the same time, and we would not encourage them to do other classes at the same time. Trades, just like any other class, they're intensive.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes. And then for maybe Cam, the academics. So if somebody wanted to do, let's say, English 1100 again, is that scheduled at a time where they go perhaps first thing in the morning to KPU and then go to the high school, or is it evening class, or is it Monday, Wednesday, Friday? How does that work out?
So usually courses for us right now with public schools are evening courses. So that way it can be more flexible with their other courses. So so you 4 to 7, or some are 7 to 10 as well, but preferably 4 to 7 is what we see most often. Yes.
So we're, as independent schools, we know you're already doing this. Like, you've already gone through the learning curve. You have students successfully enrolled in it. So I realize that there's answers. It's just like, I don't know the answers. So that's very helpful. So the question is just about the programs that are 21 or 24 weeks, not fitting into a high school semester. How does that work?
So we have our welding program, which is actually 28. Could stand corrected, but I believe that's a 28-week program. And students are actually expected to come right through summertime as well. And they gladly do. It's an amazing program. Again, it gives them their level 1 technical training. If they were to come to the institution to do that, it's a very difficult program to get into. So to have the opportunity to jump into the program while still at the high school level, we've yet to have a single complaint from students. And we are bound, again, I feel like a broken record, but we're bound by the Industry Training Authority when it comes to the number of weeks that a program runs. So we unfortunately cannot shorten the programs to accommodate the high school semesters. So that's why we start the programs. One of the programs that we have actually starts a week before the semester. So that's our plumbing piping program. And that one's here in Surrey. It starts because students get that 1-week semester break. Students during that week come to school and do their training, and then they carry on for the full semester. So they do finish at the end of June.
So what I'm inferring is that the student selection process needs to be finessed. That students that would fit the program, understand the parameters of the program, are keen to get this head start. Those are the students that would have success. If somebody doesn't realize the workload or how it works in their life, then perhaps they're not as satisfied with the program. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's correct.
So we do want to make sure that our schools are well informed, the counselors are well informed, so that they can give the students the correct information. But I can really see for some students that this is just an incredible opportunity, and they'll be out, wage earning far quicker than a lot of their peers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Could I
Steve,
just,
of course.
Just because these spark other comments about when we offer courses, and we just spoke about on the academic side 4 to 7 o'clock and 7 to 10 o'clock. My preference, just for young people being out late at night, is not always the best thing. 4 to 7 is probably a better time slot. But also thinking of variations if schools are operating on day 1, day 2 schedules. The whole summertime, to me, is an open opportunity for students to consider taking Quantlen courses. And this is an area I'm pushing my own university. And so we're in deep discussions, fairly far along now, offering a health science course in August. It's a 6-week course, first-year health sciences, that can lead into careers in the health science fields. And this is with Surrey School District, and they are going to pre-buy, if we get all the agreements in place, pre-buy a class, and then they get to fill it with their students. And so this, to me, is an exciting possibility that we could be offering cohorts on campus at KPU.
Right, that's amazing. And the thought of pre-buy, of course, makes me think, well, maybe independent schools could come together and do a similar model.
Yep.
But if you're saying summer courses, are you saying for students that at their end of grade 11, in the summer between grade 11 and grade 12? Or are we also saying a graduated student grade 12 the summer before they might head off to a university, or one or both?
So the question is around the age, and we're exploring the idea of a student that is still enrolled at the high school, under 19, eligible for your funding. This is a funding question as well. Whether they graduate in June of grade 12, could they still take that high school dual credit opportunity? And my understanding is yes, as long as they're under 19.
A bunch of courses were listed that were part of the Youth Train and Trades. Is she able to tell us which ones are offered just only at Quantlen?
Maybe the question is actually, how do we find out what courses are offered when, and so that we can help, is it in your normal catalog? Is there a separate section we should look at for dual credit type of things?
Absolutely. So when you go to kpu.ca, I can definitely email it out. It is available through our online scheduling, but instead of going to where you would normally go to for academic programs, you would instead go to foundation programs or apprenticeship programs. There are 2 different spots, and unfortunately the way the university is set up, it's 2 different semesters, or 3 if you include the academic programs. But the easiest way is probably for me to send out to everybody the direct links to our programs and also the dates and times that we currently offer them.
In order for us to proceed, we would need to organize a memorandum of agreement with the partnering institution. FISA might be able to help coordinate that from the independent schools point of view. And this covers off what we can deliver. It also talks about liabilities, responsibilities, obligations, those sort of things. So every school district, I think we have 7 MOUs now with the neighboring school districts, and we would basically have the same agreement, and we're happy to share an example of that with you. And then finally, I just want to mention an example of another opportunity. We're talking about dual credit, but diploma dual credit, where students can begin a diploma pathway in the high school and then finish it off at KPU. So the healthcare assistant program is an example of that, where they would perhaps start in grade 11 or 12. They have the summertime to keep going, and then they're much closer to completing a diploma by then finishing it off at KPU. So we're excited with the first one we've really got going, the healthcare assistant program. The CAD program is somewhat like that. We're looking at an education assistant program, and soon we hope to develop an early childhood education program in the same way. So thank you for the
Yeah.
opportunity.
It certainly is exciting to see all the possibilities. So I'm going to wish everyone online well, and we're going to close the Zoom meeting. And then, again, enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe. Thank you.